What's going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here, and I got a great story for y'all. And I don't think I've ever shared this kind of story on my channel before. But yesterday, a little context. So the last couple weeks, ever since I started posting on YouTube again, that kind of marked a transition in my life where I decided, you know, I need to stop. I need to prioritize my life, right? And so what that looked like was prioritizing my self-care, right? Prioritizing my health, prioritizing my mental health, prioritizing YouTube, prioritizing family and friends, right? And 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 so for the last 2 weeks, ever since May 8th, right? Uh, that's what my life has been about. And marijuana is really, really low on the list, right? As well as fast food, as well as a lot of binge pleasures at the bottom of the list, right? But after 2 weeks of really grinding, so to speak, and growing and challenging myself and being consistent, um, I've started to feel tired, and I started to feel the desire or need even for reward and celebration. And so in my past, that's something I'd struggled with, right? It'd be all or nothing, right? Only success, only winning, only moving forward, only discipline. And I wouldn't make any room for rest, recovery, and enjoyment. And on the flip side, when I'm depressed and sad, it's like I'm only doing reward, I'm only doing binge pleasures, and I'm not doing anything productive, right? And so after 2 weeks of really going after it and really being fulfilled in that sense, my body just was like, bro, like we need a day. We need a fucking day. And so yeah, I started to entertain the idea of um, using THC as part of that way to reward and relax. And like many of you, that is a concerning idea. And the reason because in my past, using THC has typically led to a backward momentum. And first and foremost, that's a story. And second of all, it is up to us to be responsible for how our lives are going. Okay. And so if my life is to go backwards or forwards despite me using THC or not, that's on me, right? I think that part is clear. And so I enjoyed it. I truly did. Something I've realized about myself is that it is a part of my value system to not use smoke or vapor. Mainly because my father has had lung issues ever since he was a kid. And I made a promise to myself on a subconscious level and to him, really, that I wasn't going to smoke. Now, that doesn't mean I wasn't going to enjoy THC, right? But it does mean that I was going to be responsible and healthy when it came to my lungs, especially. And so I felt very happy and complete with using an edible, in this case, lemonade, which I've used before. Now, I took 2 doses of 45 milligrams, and the first dose lasted about 3 hours. I decided to go on a walk, which then ended up turning into a jog, which I enjoyed. And as much as I did enjoy the space, I really did. Something I noticed is that, like, how can I put this? I mean, it's a drug. It's a very specific type of space, and I noticed that my sense of clarity and my sense of mental sharpness really wasn't there. Not that I was stupid, right? Not that I was stupid, but I was more inclined to just like be and fun and yay, 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 and go with the flow and do whatever I feel feels good. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Especially if I'm using it as a reward to take a day, right? But in terms of my personal health and my personal mental health and stability and the goals I'm working towards, rest, celebration, and the use of THC has a limiting purpose, and that main function really is to celebrate progress, right? Celebrate progress, celebrate and to really force myself to rest because I have this tendency to overwork myself to the point of exhaustion, and I don't take the time to rest, and then the momentum stops and there goes everything. Okay, and so I guess my advice to you is, if you're someone who, let's say you're pretty solid, like you know what it takes to say no, but when it comes to using it in a healthy way, you're really not sure. My first advice to you is to be clear on what your priorities are in life. Be clear. Be clear. Is it being present for your family? Is it being a good friend, a good brother, a good sister? Is it to work towards your financial goals? Is it to be as sharp as you can be so that you can function the best you can be as a student? Um, you know, and whatever that may be clear on what your priorities are and what you need to do and who you need to be in order to live the life you really enjoy, right? Be clear on that first, okay? And then ask yourself, in what way can marijuana serve me and my purpose the best? And that might look like doing it X times a week, X times a day, X times a year. That might look like saying no X times a year. That might look like using it after I do X, Y, and Z. I don't know. It depends on you. But the main thing is that your purpose, your center, your what really brings you fulfillment, joy, and satisfaction in life, like for real, at your core, that is what's most important. And everything else in your life should center around that, okay? Not just marijuana, everything. How you decide to exercise should center around that mission, that vision you have. How you use your money should center around that vision you have. How you use marijuana should center around that vision you have, right? Now, what if you don't have a vision? Okay. If you don't have a vision, you're not alone, okay? I'm continuing to work on my vision all the time, but if you literally have nowhere to start, my advice to you is to go figure that out. Go figure that out. Read some books, watch some videos, consult some successful people that you know. Okay? No worries. It's okay if you don't know what your mission is, right? That's such a, loaded endeavor, right? What's my purpose? What's my mission, right? Okay, and so after, if you can figure that out to some degree, then ask yourself, okay, so after I use THC, what do I want my life to be after that? Right? Be clear. And for me, so yesterday, I bought a 125 milligram bottle of this THC lemonade. And I took 45 milligrams at around like 4 or 5. I went on a walk. I decided to take another 45 milligrams, and there's about like 30, 40 left, right, in the bottle. And for me, I know for myself that if I had kept that in the house and just kind of sitting there, my brain just by default is like gonna think about it, right, every now and then, if not a lot. Just kind of like how if your phone is next to you, like you're just gonna look at it and just like want to grab it because it's fucking there, right? That's why you want to do it, because it's fucking there, right? So I just decided, and in a way to feel power and in control of myself, right, that I poured the rest down the drain. I poured the rest of the THC lemonade down the drain. Now, why did I do that? Well, think of this, man. For me, if I have a beer and I am done drinking the beer, like I don't want to drink anymore, and there's like a half a beer left, I don't fucking save it. I fucking throw it away, almost out of disgust. I'm like, ugh, I don't want this. And in a similar way, I did that with marijuana, mainly because, like, don't get me wrong, I love it. I loved it. I love the experience, just like I love the experience of being drunk, right? But at the same time, it's like, there's a baseline of emotion that I like to be at, and a baseline like mental cognition that I like to be at, that really wasn't there when I was on marijuana. Okay, like I was too in the fucking clouds when I was on THC, like too up there, and not grounded enough, not connected to my purpose, not connected to a sense of direction, way too fucking out there. And so in my mind, like after being so out there last night, I was like, okay, like I'm done with this. Like I was like drowsy and woozy by the end of the night, and I really wish I had more energy to do more things, but I did what I did, and I'm complete with that choice, meaning I am happy and at peace with that choice. And so I threw the rest down the drain. And that was just that's what worked for me. Right? That's what worked for me. Okay, so final tip. My advice to you is to be mindful of the way you talk to yourself when it comes to using marijuana, especially because your past is going to start telling you things like, if we do this, we're going to slip into a state of depression. Okay. Now, I can almost guarantee that if you don't interrupt that story, you're going to use it in a way that ends up leading to your depression. Okay. Now, just be clear on what you want. I want to use this to make my life better, and I don't want to use it afterward for some time. And then execute, okay? When I was off of YouTube this most recent period, it's because I didn't fucking execute. And I also wasn't clear on like my intentions. All right, but I'm sharing this with you now just to kind of let you guys know that yes, I drank some THC lemonade yesterday. It was great. I use it as a reward celebration. I'm whole and at peace with that decision. I'm glad I didn't smoke it or vape it. I enjoyed the process, and I'm grateful for the plant and the space that it allowed me to be in yesterday. And I'm also grateful to continue the lifestyle that I was on, which is doing my morning ritual, which is emphasizing exercise, hydration, nutrition, contribution, right? Awareness, commitment, devotion, right? Self-care, stability, those things, right? And so that's it. I hope this video was valuable for you. I highly encourage you to check out my book, Marijuana Mindfulness. If you are someone who has tried to quit weed 1,000 times but can't, that book was written for you in mind. Really short book. It's like 40 to 60 pages. It's so easy to read. I've read it multiple times, and it takes me less than an hour most times. And if not, watch my other videos. And if you're really in the shits, I advise you to shout me an email down below to look into one-on-one coaching. For the most part, I offer people like a couple free sessions just to kind of get the ball rolling to see if you like it, for you to get some value right away. And if it's something that works out, we look into possibly working for a longer period for, in like a financial contract, but that's really here nor there. I hope this video found you well regardless. Enjoy yourself, figure out what the fuck you want in your life, and go for it. Peace.